Hello, and welcome to the review of Linux training. I am David Velez, president of the student chapter of ACM at Texas A&M San Antonio. This review will get you up to speed in preparing for the advanced Linux training that is coming. I'll be touching on concepts we talked about in the first meeting and go over some basics that I might have left out. As always, I strongly recommend that you guys join our Discord chat server and install it on your mobile devices. Keep up with announcements, news, gossip, and talks regarding everything ComSci. I encourage you to be a part of this community because, frankly, it's the only community that we have on campus. And the more people that get involved, the better it is for everyone. We will be stepping into social media pretty soon, so you lurkers out there that want to continue to lurk, you can do so on your favorite social media sites. This, of course, will be announced pretty soon. Um, I hope that everyone is keeping up with your knowledge and keeping yourselves sharp. Of course, there's many ways of doing this by reading some books, like, for example, C++, Primer Plus, or you can go into the C Sharp, my personal favorite here, Player's Guide, or, you can go into Volo's Guide to Monsters. So anyways, I hope you guys are keeping yourselves sharp. Um, other noteworthy places that you can think about joining that we've recommended is teamtreehouse.com and hackerrank.com. These are great websites to sharpen your skills. So go ahead and check them out and continue to practice because in the real world, you got to put your skills to work, and you have to live it, you have to breathe it, you have to digest it, and you got to keep it real right here. So, anyways, in all seriousness, I hope this video is helpful to you and perhaps more to serve some purpose in helping you understand Linux in a practical way, and that it breeds curiosity for you to learn more about it. You can, of course, download VMware off on the hub, which we have a link on that on the Discord server that we have in the training channel. And the operating system for Linux is, most of them are free, so you can look online and download the images for that. And if you prefer to use VirtualBox, feel free to do so. You can find that on their website. Um, anyway, today I'll be working on Ubuntu, and we'll go ahead and get started.
All right, folks. So we're going to get started. So this is my Ubuntu box that I have running on VMware. Currently, I'm actually SSH into my Raspberry Pi device. So what that means is that I'm actually on my desktop and I connect it to my Raspberry Pi that I have on my network. Because I've done a lot of work on my Raspberry Pi, so it kind of gives you a good idea on what's going on. So start out with, we're going to do a little bit of navigation. So as you know, CD is a change directory. So you can pretty much, this is a root system, so we have to put, these are all going to be forward slashes. If I wanted to get to a certain directory, you can basically just explore to there. So this is my, I have a Nextcloud server that's on this machine, so I go to this directory a lot. So as you can see, I did an ls, which means list. And there's different type of list commands that I think would be useful to you. So again, this is just a review. So if you do an ls-l, that puts it into list view, and this gives you kind of a good idea of what these files are as far as like their permissions. This is the the read, write, execute permissions, user who owns the file, and this is a group ownership, and these are the size. Right here in this column, that's the size of the files. And then you have your dates. So one of the really neat things with lists is that there's different types of ways of listing out your files. So there's a -la as well, which brings out hidden files. So you can see with these files that have a dot as a prefix to these files, these are hidden files. And as you can see, like in this previous list view, we don't have those files. So if you're looking for hidden files, using the A for all will help you find those files. Also, one of the things I like to look in this directory is doing an a dash LT, which sorts it by date. It tells me what was modified last. This is particularly helpful when you're looking at logs. So when something goes wrong on your computer or on a server, if you're working on a server, you like to go to a directory called varlog, which most Linux servers have them. So what I like to do is I like to do the LT in here. So it tells me what log am I looking for. So if something happened, it'll basically give you a good idea. Okay, something happened recently on April the 2nd, so I can take a look at these logs and read them, and it sorts it by date. So it kind of makes it easy to spot which log you're looking at. And this is kind of a long list of logs here, so sometimes I like to condense it. So I do the same command, but I pipe it to a command called head, which takes the top 10 entries of what you're looking for. So there's my top 10. So I kind of condensed the view a little bit to where it's a little bit more readable for me. So this is really useful. But let's say that I was in this particular directory and I wanted to go back to where I was just at. Now, normally, what you would probably do is you would type the whole directory back to get to where you need to, right? You were in the next cloud. But the really neat thing is you can just hit the minus sign here, CD minus, and hit enter, and it'll tell you you just went back to your previous directory. And as I do an ls, you can see that I have. So these kind of commands are just really useful. Also, you can list directories like previous directories. So like for example, this path right here. This is var www html nextcloud. Now I can actually do an ls on my previous directory, which is html. Now if I do one dot, it'll just do basically your current directory. So dot is current directory and dot dot is previous directory. And you can keep doing this to go back. Let's say you want to see www. This is back 2 directories. And tells me there's an HTML folder, which is correct because, you know, www, then HTML. So these are some useful ways of using ls that you might not, or maybe you have heard of. So this is a pretty good introduction to that. Now we're going to step into reading files. So I just did an exit, so I just X'd out of my I dropped my connection from my Raspberry Pi. So currently, as you can see here, I'm on my Ubuntu.